Chords. What are chords? A chord is when three or more notes are played together at the same time. When it's just two, it's called a dyad, or referred to as an interval. Technically, any three notes played together could be a chord, but if we want them to sound more pleasing to the ear, we usually stack them in thirds. A third refers to the distance between two notes. Take the lower note, count up the letter names with the first note being 1, and you will find a third. The third of A is C, A1, B2, C3. The third of G is B, G1, A2, B3. There are two types of thirds that we commonly use, major and minor. A major third spans the distance of 4 half steps, and a minor third spans the distance of 3. To build triads, 3-note chords, take two sets of thirds and stack them on top of each other. A major third plus a minor third equals a major triad. A minor third plus a major third equals a minor triad. These are the two most common, but other combos are possible. A minor third plus another minor third equals a diminished chord. A major third plus another major third equals an augmented chord. Thirds can be continued to be stacked past 2. When we add another one, we get a 7th chord. When we add another one, we get a 9th. Chords usually belong to a key, and this helps us decide how to move from one chord to another. To find the chords in any given key, first write out the major scale in that key. In F major, the notes are F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F. To find the triads in that key, stack 2 thirds on top of each of the notes and be sure to follow the key signature. We get a pattern of chords that repeats in every major key. The 1 chord is major, the 2 chord is minor, the 3 chord is minor, the 4 chord is major, the 5 chord is major, the 6 chord is minor, the 7th chord is diminished, and then we repeat back to the 1 chord being major. This pattern will repeat in any major key, no matter what key it is. Within these keys, each of these chords have a function. The 3 most common functions are tonic, subdominant, and dominant. Tonic chords give us a sense of rest, subdominant create motion and instability, and dominant chords create a sense of tension that wants to be resolved back to the tonic. The main tonic chord in major is the 1 chord, with the 6th chord serving as a secondary tonic. The subdominant chords are 2 and 4. The 5 and the 7 both serve as dominant chords. The 3 chord can be a bit of a wild card. It can serve several different functions. Play around with some chord progressions that follow the rule tonic, subdominant, dominant, tonic. And then experiment with other progressions that don't always follow these rules. Now let's say you want some more chord sounds without moving outside of the key. With all of these chords, you can get different sounds by changing around the order and the range of the notes. The first method is through changing the voicing of the chord. All this means is that the bottom note, or the root of the chord, stays the same, but the top notes can change octaves and number of times that they occur. A common voicing that can appear in root position triads is taking the third up an octave, making it the top note of the chord. Listen to the difference. The second method is through inversion, where the bass, or root note, of the chord changes and a new note becomes the bottom of the chord. In a triad, 2 kinds of inversions are possible. First inversion is where the third of the chord becomes the bass, and second inversion is where the 5th of the chord becomes the bass. Now try out a couple of those chord progressions with new voicings and inversions. Quick recap. Chords can be built from any 3 notes, but in most cases, stacking in thirds will be the most pleasing to the ear. Triads, or 3-note chords, are built with a stack of 2 thirds, different combinations of major and minor. Most chords belong to a key, and this key helps us decide how to move from one chord to another and what chords sound good together. We can get different sounds out of the same chords through use of inversions and voicing. If you learned anything, or you found this video interesting, please consider leaving a like and subscribe. Thanks, and see you next time.